On October 13, 1973, when a really pissed-off black woman flung a pot of hot grits on Al Green, her hair was freshly pressed and curled by none other than my mother, Laverne Witherspoon. As a result of our little brush with Negro history, nobody makes Al Green jokes in our house or even at my mother's beauty shop, where you can imagine a lot of women fantasize about taking revenge on a lying man. I think the women like the story not just because of the drama of it, but because grits were the weapon of choice. The boiling cereal reminds them of being stuck in a hot kitchen. It reminds them of being poor and barefoot before they had even heard of waffles or hollandaise sauce. That girl, whatever her name was, she took the whole entire state of Mississippi and kicked his ass with it. If someone says Al Green and grits in the same conversation and a titter of laughing starts, my mother cuts it off with a quiet, "That's not funny." You can hear it in her voice, but if you look at her face, you can't hear it in her voice, but if you look at her face, at the way she closes her eyes and tucks her head down like she's in prayer, you know that she's serious. People probably assume that she's religious and feel sympathy for Al Green, who caught the Holy Ghost after that girl got after him. But it's not the Reverend Green that my mother has a tender heart for. To this day, Mama regrets that she didn't catch her family name. The Atlanta Journal identified her as Sanford, while Jet Magazine called her Woodson, but all agreed that her first name was Mary. She told my mother she was visiting Atlanta for a few days in order to attend an AME Usher Board convention. Even before Mama noticed Mary's cross pendant, simple, the jewelry equivalent of two sticks tied together, Mama could tell that the woman was saved. Even after what happened next, Mama said she never doubted that Mary had come to Jesus. The truly saved don't have to go around talking about it. They just have this quietness about them, like they know where they're going and they don't have anything to worry about. Mary came into Pink Fox late on a Tuesday evening, walking in at 7:30 when Mama was finishing up her last customer of the night. As a matter of fact, Mama was untying her apron and switching off the gas under the irons when Mary crossed the threshold looking like a kindergarten teacher at the end of a long day. She wore a pink pantsuit, stylish, but the top stitching on the pockets gave away that it was homemade. Her thumb and middle finger were stained blue like she'd been writing with a fountain pen, and they worried a mustard stain on her blouse. Mama said she'll never forget that face, smooth as a brown egg, no lines or crinkles, like she had never laughed or cried a whole day in her entire life. This was not a good night for a late customer. My mama wasn't all that steady on her feet, as this was her first full week of work after her gallbladder operation. These days, they can do the whole thing with lasers and only make a little hole in your belly button. But in 1974, doctors had to cut you open, straight down the middle, gut you like a fish. Mama was laid up for 3 weeks, and during this time, my Grandma Bunny came down to see about her. When Mary came into the shop, Grandma Bunny was only 2 days gone back to Monroe. Although I was dozing in my playpen in the corner of the shop, Mama knew I wouldn't sleep forever. Besides, her stitches hurt. "Do you take walk-ins?" Mary asked. "I know you're likely closing up, but maybe you can find it in your heart to help me." Although it was only 2 weeks until October, something put my mother in the mind of Christmas. Maybe it was simple as the name Mary, but Mama felt that God would want her to take this stranger in. "I'm not well, but I might could help you," my mother said, "depending on what it is that you need." "I'll tip you good," Mary said, sitting in the chair like my mother had already said yes. She pulled half a dozen bobby pins out of her scrawny bun and unwrapped a red rubber band that came away clotted with hair. "Thank you," she said, "and God bless you."